Over the past few lessons, we've explored what the JET program is and reflected on whether it might be the right opportunity for you. Today, I'd like to take a step back and let you hear directly from the people who have actually lived the experience. One of the things I love most about the JET program is that no two journeys are exactly alike. Some participants are placed in bustling cities, while others find themselves in small rural communities. Some teach at elementary schools, while others work with junior high or senior high students. Some arrive speaking Japanese, while others begin with a little or no language experience. Every journey is different. Yet despite those differences, many alumni describe similar themes: building meaningful relationships, stepping outside their comfort zones, discovering new perspectives, and growing in ways they never expected. As you watch these stories, I encourage you to listen with curiosity. Rather than asking whether your journey will look like theirs, pay attention to the qualities, mindsets, and experiences that resonate most with you. What excites you? What surprises you? What inspires you? What kind of experience do you hope to create? Let's hear from our community.
That I'd made the right decision by going, you know what I mean? That I was in the right place. I was doing what was natural for me in terms of cultural exchange and learning a language and becoming familiar with working life. And then specifically related to Japan, I felt like, and I've talked about this with other friends of mine who did the JET program or who worked in Japan for a long time. The beautiful thing about spending a lot of time in Japan, specifically as a person who's from a culture that's very different to Japan, is it kind of gives you this sense that you have a superpower of observation. Once you manage to get things going, you know what I mean? And when you do start to understand the language and you understand what people are talking about, and the cultural nuances and what the expectations are in certain situations, you start to become more observant. And I feel like that's a change that I saw in myself happening over my many years in Japan, and it's continued to this day as well as a personal shift, which I think is extremely valuable, really, really valuable and meaningful. And I see it in other immigrants in other countries as well. I think it's a highly valuable for life skill, life and social skill to be able to read a situation, to be adaptable, and willing to try new things. I mean, it sounds cliche, but being open to things like that has made part of what made my time in Japan so particularly meaningful. And it's true, and it's funny because I mean it's very specific in Japan, but it's a skill that is transferable too. Because when you go into another third culture, fourth culture, however many cultures you want to go to, you're going to be better at picking some of those things up. In terms of advice for people who are just starting out, it would be say yes to things, go to things, show up and expose yourself to different activities, different kinds of people. Just go out there, participate, observe, and rinse and repeat. Just do that over and over and over, and then 10 years later, you'll be a whole new person.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that it's hard to point to a single moment. I would say just overall, this experience made me into a much more adaptable and resilient person, because you have to just roll with the punches, and with between the language barrier and the cultural differences, you never know how things are going to play out, and nothing's going to be as easy and straightforward as it is at home. So, and then the good thing is you have a great support network between your supervisor, teacher, your prefectural associate, and your friends who maybe have better Japanese language skills than you. There's nothing that's totally insurmountable. So I remember specifically actually you helping me get my Japanese driver's license, which felt like a big moment of wow, I can move to another country where I don't speak the language and successfully pass a driving exam and get a driver's license, which was a cool thing, I think, or something that made me feel like, oh, I really accomplished something that shows that I can do this.
I loved that I was on JET because I got to teach a little bit as a part-time job in college, and I thought, I guess I can do this. I got a little bit of confidence because these were Japanese elementary and junior high school kids that were just doing English after school as like an after school activity just to get more more education, like is so common in Japanese cities. So yeah, I didn't really know what it would be like to be a full-time English teacher, but I loved the partnership of team teaching because usually the balance is really, really good, right? You have this well-trained Japanese person. Typically, I find there to be more women in it, but I did work with a couple of male teachers that were English teachers as well. And your skills and your background are just so different from each other that you just balance each other out, where you have this lovely, lesson plan, all of the vocabulary. Okay, we need to work on these 12 words during our lesson today. And, your job is just to play a game with it and to have fun. And that was just such a gift. I loved that. I love that I could just bring the sparkle or the fun, or, I was asked to sing some songs, but I am not much of a singer, so I can't say that was a huge part of my job, but I was playing with the language, with the students that needed to see that it was alive and active. It doesn't have to stay in a book or on paper. This is a language that people around the world use every day. And if you want to have a job that deals with people from other countries, if you want to go to other countries, this is something that, is going to be useful. So I can't say that every student in the countryside is going to see that as something that will be useful for their life because they're not planning on that kind of job or that kind of life in the future. But if you make it fun, even the student that is maybe even doing really bad in school in general, they're going to hold on to that, because if 5 out of 6 periods of their day is not enjoyable for them, and you make that one period out of their school day a little bit sparklier, they're going to appreciate that.
So as a Jet, having an open mindset is a massive asset. I think I came with a good personality of being able to put myself out there, to develop sort of my perspectives. Was something that I really wanted to do. And that growth mindset really helped me a lot. Not only overcoming challenges, but also find opportunities within my time here in Japan and within my further career path. Certainly though, everyone will have times where they don't feel like they can engage so optimistically. Everyone will have days, even if you feel like you're an enthusiastic and engaging person, where you really don't want to crawl out of that nice snug tatami mat to dig snow for 15 minutes before you can drive to the office day, where you're just going to be sitting and not achieving much. But how you adjust to that and how you position yourself to take up any opportunities that come, to be productive in that dead space at your desk time, to develop games that might help you in the classroom so that you can have an asset to go forward, will really help adjust you to that moment of anxiety or stress or boredom, but also give you something to build on that's going to be positive for the rest of your life, to bring one more opportunity, to learn one more kanji or new way of explaining something, even in the local dialect, that's going to give you that opportunity to bond with one more person when you pull it out at the karaoke event in 3 months' time, and are able to impress that you actually recognize that word. These are the small things that you can always be doing through simply staying aware of the moment, as optimistic and engaged as you can be at that time. You will build opportunities without even knowing you're doing so.
As you've probably noticed, every person's story is different. Different placements, different schools, different personalities, different challenges, different opportunities. And yet many of the same themes appear again and again. Community, curiosity, growth, resilience, connection. Those themes remind us that while every JET experience is different, meaningful growth often comes from many of the same places. Curiosity, relationships, and a willingness to embrace the unknown. Those values are at the heart of the JET experience, and they're also at the heart of everything we hope to cultivate here in JETPrep. As you continue through this course, remember that there isn't one right way to experience a JET. Your journey won't look exactly like anyone else's, and that's one of the most exciting parts. As you continue preparing, focus less on trying to recreate someone else's experience and more on creating one that reflects your own goals, values, and aspirations. One day, you may be the person sharing your own story with someone who's just beginning this journey. In our next lesson, we'll begin exploring how you can start preparing today by building experiences, developing new skills, and strengthening the qualities that will help you become both a competitive applicant and a successful participant. I'll see you there.